the Bhagavad Gita. I'm going to continue from where we left off. Now, in this video, we're going to talk about chapter 5, the Sannyasa Yoga. Now, at this point, it seems like the Bhagavad Gita is quite contradictory, and Arjuna actually calls this out in the very beginning of this chapter. We'll get to that in a second. But it's important to know that Sri Krishna at no point is actually contradictory, and the only contradiction comes from taking a singular sloka out of context, saying that, oh, it's this limited scope, and this is what he's actually saying. But in truth, the scope is so much bigger. To achieve a singular person's dharma, to uplift all of society and the self, and to understand the ultimate truth, all of it is in here, and all of it is done in perfect order. Sri Krishna does not miss a beat, does not skip a step. And we have to keep in mind certain lines of certain slokas do hold a bit of weight and hold a huge context into the rest of the shlokas. And we will get into where those shlokas lie and how to really read the rest of the chapter with those key understandings in mind. Now, on screen, I'm going to have translations directly from this book so you can follow along, and I'm going to give you my interpretation, my insight into the slokas that I read. Like and subscribe for more videos, and we'll get into it. Is the Bhagavad Gita really contradictory? As Arjuna says, renunciation of action, O Krishna, you commend, and again its performance. Of the two, which one is better? Tell me that conclusively. Arjuna's now demanding. He's like, okay, all these words, Sri Krishna, you're not really telling me exactly what needs to be done here. What is it? Because I'm here looking for answers, and this is good. The student should always question the teacher, never be afraid to try to find clarity within such richness, within something so dense as following the ultimate self and seeing the unseen and knowing the unknown. This is the precise right action and right words that Arjuna needs to say at this moment. The Blessed Lord Sri Krishna says, renunciation and performance of action both lead to freedom. Of the two, performance of action is superior to the renunciation of action. Very important here. Keep that in mind. Sri Krishna says this a lot in the Bhagavad Gita. Action is superior to inaction. He says this in previous chapters already, and we're only in chapter 5. Performance of action superior to the renunciation of action. Always keep that in mind. We're going to go through the rest of chapter 5. He should be known a constant sannyasin, who neither hates nor desires, free from the pair of opposites, O mighty armed. He is easily set free from bondage. To act without desiring, to act without result, to act as a measure of dharma alone. This is my purpose, this is my duty, this is my function. I complete my function. Children, not the wise, speak of knowledge and performance of action as different. He who is truly established in one obtains the fruits of both. The state reached by the jnanis is also reached by the karma yogis. He sees who sees jnana and karma as one. Action is still information. You're still collecting data. You know, all this book smarts are there. You're trying to decipher. You're chanting the mantra. You're doing all these things. You're learning. There's another set of learning, and that is experience. And that is actually going out there. Remember, Sri Krishna does not exclude experience. Experience is probably one of the most important ingredients to understanding the ultimate truth. How can you understand something when the body has not been properly forged and molded in such a way that it can digest that truth? That is what Sri Krishna is trying to emphasize here. It's all information, it's all data. And to him, the ultimate Supreme Personality of Godhead, morality is what? That's our judgment, right? We put the flavor in what is essentially the unpacking of packed energy, the movement of this whole creation. The sustainer of the world only cares that everything is coherent. And that coherence is led by what? this movement that is actually just information, that is actually just ones and zeros in a different sense. And it's important to know that even action itself is still knowledge. And that's what is being said here. Sannyasa, almighty armed, is hard to attain to without karma yoga. The man of meditation, purified by karma yoga, quickly goes to Brahman. And this is where he talks about meditation as some of the ultimate actions that you can take to really realize the self. That meditation is the purified to act, meditate with the mind purified by karma yoga and the self disciplined and the senses subdued. One who realizes oneself as the self in all beings through acting is not affected. The sage centered in the self should think, I do nothing at all, though seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, eating, going, sleeping, breathing, speaking, emptying, holding, opening, and closing his eyes, firm in the thought that the senses move amongst sense objects. What is going on here? Sri Krishna is saying the ultimate truth. But just because something is true does not make it useful. Why is he constantly hammering down the idea that action is superior to inaction? Because you need the experience to know for yourself. It's not purified. The meditation is not purified without the karma yoga, without the movement, without the going out there and trying your best. Test the hypothesis for yourself. Again, karma yoga and jnana yoga are the same. They're all information, and you need that information to actually understand this, that I do nothing at all, that nothing ever happens at all. Oh, you just know. You just know that the beginning and end is the same. It's not good enough to have that just in your head as an experience within you. Reincarnation and karma as an experience within you, not just this, oh, I read it in a book and now I think I get it. No. Sri Krishna is trying to get you away from that type of thinking. That one can only forge a sword not by just reading how to make a sword, but by actually going in the forge, getting slight burns, getting a little cut here and there. But through trial and error, actually, that's when the sword is made. When it's forged with not only just reading about how to make the sword, but going out to the forge, tasting the heat. Not literally tasting the heat, feeling the heat. That's how you get it. That's how you understand the ultimate truth. He who acts, abandoning attachment, dedicating his deeds to Brahman, is untainted by sin as the lotus leaf by water. The yogi, abandoning attachment, performs work with the body, the mind, the intellect, and the senses only for self-purification. Abandoning the fruits of action, the yogi attains peace born of steadfastness. Impelled by desire, the non-yogi is bound, attached to fruit. This is the flow state. This is when you're doing and you're kind of so focused on what you're doing that Sri Krishna is perfectly describing the flow state. Notice the word steadfastness there. It's particular in such that you are so focused in the doing of the action. You're so focused in doing your duty. You understand exactly what needs to be done, and such concentration cannot go wrong. The flow state is so, if you ever felt it, it feels like you can't go wrong. It only flows in that way when you're confident you know what you're doing. And there, you're not really thinking of the fruits of what you're doing. You're thinking of getting this action done. And that's when action is done best. That's what Sri Krishna is trying to tell us, is that try to achieve this state where you are flowing. Having mentally renounced all action, the self-disciplined indweller rests happily in the city of nine gates, neither acting nor causing to act. Now, the city of nine gates is all the holes on the human body. It is the eyes, the nostrils, the mouth, the ears. What else? Yeah, the anus, the genitals. Does the navel count? 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, the navel does not count. So that is the city of nine gates. The city of nine gates is the openings on the human body. The Lord does not create agency or actions for the world. He does not create union with the fruits of action. Nature does all this. Sri Krishna is saying, it's not me giving you everything. It's not me making you lose. All this is karma. Remember, Prakriti, born of karma of the three gunas, from the beginning of time to now, this cause and effect nature that karma brings about. It's not the Lord's doing. The Lord doesn't need to do all that. There's no need for an imminent break within the logic of karma. Sri Krishna confirming the logic of karma here. In a very powerful way, he's saying that everything that you gain, everything that you lost, it's not me. The universe is constantly in balance, either in its extremes or in its dissolution in the middle. And here karma is doing all the work. And here one understands the ego has no real place in this creation. That when one understands this, they are closer to the ultimate truth. They're closer to liberation. They're closer to ultimate peace. The omnipresent does not take note of the merit or demerit of any. Knowledge is the veil by ignorance. Mortals are thereby deluded. Again, the Supreme Lord, if you were the observer of this entire creation, the entire universe, the beginning and end of time is this being. What do they see really? Not the flavoring of morality that human beings on this rock orbiting this star places on certain actions that fit the mold of a pro-society ideology. The universe moving from a packed state to an unpacked state. And what you call being a human being is the style in which that happens. What you call morality, what you call good and what you call evil is the style of this energy. The omnipresent doesn't take note of merit and demerit. Why? Because what does the ultimate supreme being actually see? It sees the movement of energy. It sees the coherence of the universe. That everything needs to be done in a certain way so that the beginning and end of time can conduct its story. Shining like the sun, knowledge reveals the supreme in them, in whom ignorance is destroyed by self-knowledge. Those who think on that, merge in that, get fixed in that, have that as the goal. They attain to non-return. Their taints being dispelled by knowledge. Men of self-knowledge are same-sided on a brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and an outcast. Sri Krishna talking about how one can actually empathize with the world. One can find a place and a belonging in any community when they realize the ultimate truth, when they realize Brahman, when they understand that everything is actually one. They don't talk down on anything. They don't talk up to anything. They understand the equanimity of it all. You're chatting up with some boys at the bar. You're out going on dates. You're doing all these different things. We don't talk down on those different things. We can acknowledge those things. All of them can be integrated. A quote-unquote normal life, a unspiritual life, should not be talked down on. Everybody, not even to the idea that they have their own journey and when their time is coming. None of that. It's actually recognizing them and being also able to enjoy their company and enjoy their time. Transitory existence is overcome even here by them whose mind rests on equality. Brahman is flawless and the same in all. Therefore, they are established in Brahman. Established in Brahman, the firm understanding and with no delusion, the knower of Brahman rejoices not, getting what is pleasant and grieves not, getting what is unpleasant. If you really did understand Brahman, if you really are, like everything is one, all this is the same, then how can you be upset? You've relinquished the idea of positive experience and a negative experience. A constant bliss must be in every situation when one is enlightened in the knowledge of Brahman. That's what Sri Krishna is saying here. what he's saying is true. Again, we're getting to this idea that what he's saying is true, but is it useful for you? He's just saying some things that is like, hey, this is the qualities of someone that actually understands Brahman, that actually understands the non-dual idea that everything is actually one. And he's not saying that you right away have to adopt it. He's already said how to practice, how to do these things, and he's going to continue to iterate on those later. He's spitting facts. And Sri Krishna is always just going to spit the facts to you. And he's saying it in such a blunt way. He's saying it in such a cutting way that it can confuse the individual. That's why Arjuna will keep asking questions later, even so. But what's great about Sri Krishna, what's great about the Bhagavad Gita, is it doesn't mince words. It's telling you exactly the ultimate truth, and then it's telling you how to actually integrate that ultimate truth with where you are in your life. That's where the Bhagavad Gita is most masterful. With the self detached from the external context, he realizes the bliss in the self. Devoted as he is to the meditation of Brahman, he enjoys imperishable bliss. This is what I was saying before. The delights that are contact born are verily the wombs of pain they have. O son of Kunti, a beginning and an end, no wise man rejoices in them. Why be attached to something that could end? If it has a beginning, then it has an end. And ultimately, the ultimate pleasure, the ultimate thing that can make you ultimately happy and ultimately blissful is something that is above all these fluctuating and temporary things. Above a marriage, above your relationships, above your family, above your friends, above your degree, how much money you're making, all these different things. Something that is a principle, something that is static, something that you hold above all that. The wise looks at that as the supreme. That which is steady amongst all that could possibly change, all that could possibly be lost. And that is where the imperishable bliss comes from. Create that principle that you hold above everything, even your ego, even the identity itself. And in a world where we're becoming more egotistical, we're saying that, oh, you should do this for you and good for you, and oh, you deserve this and all this other stuff. Go on this vacation, do all these things, splurge on this. It's just a temporary fix for what is an everlasting problem, that this world is constantly flowing away from you. That thing that you put above that egotistical satisfaction, that is what is even above nature's fluctuations, even above nature's own relinquishing and giving. That principle, that which you hold above all else, that is what is greater than all these things. And one should hold that within themselves. One should hold Sri Krishna up there. He who is able to resist the impulse of desire and anger, even here before he quits the body, he is a yogi, he is a happy man. He whose happiness is within, whose delight is within, whose illumination is within only, that yogi becomes Brahman and gains the beatitude of Brahman. With sins destroyed, doubts removed, minds disciplined, being delighted in the welfare of all beings, the rishis attain the beatitude of Brahman. The beatitude of Brahman is both here and hereafter for those sannyasins who have shed lust and anger, subdued their mind, and realized the self. Shutting out external objects, fixing the gaze between the eyebrows, equalizing the outward and inner breaths, moving in the nostrils. The sage who has controlled the senses, mind, and intellect, who is solely pursuing liberation, who has cast away desire, fear, and anger, he verily is liberated. One that focuses on Om. And when you do Om practice, how that lands on the forehead, One can imagine that when they chant Om, Om, and they focus right here in the nostrils, breathing in and out with equal poise, that alone can lead one to less anger, less desire, less fear, to this equanimity, to this ultimate liberation. Sri Krishna just spitting facts. Having known me as the Lord of yajnas and asceticism, as the ruler of all the worlds and the friends of all beings, he attains peace. Chapter 5 can sound a bit contradictory, but in here, what we're really seeing is that Sri Krishna is saying the facts, saying what it is. He's not mincing any words, and he's ultimately doing what needs to be said, and all within the scope of action is superior to inaction. Always remember that. Always remember that you have to go out there, you have to learn through that, which is doing. This is the Hindu conceptualism, signing out.